Welcome back, everybody. It's a wonderful Wednesday here for some Rainbow Six. And speaking of wonderful things and getting some more W's in here, I've got Huialku here once again to commentate for tonight's match. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How you doing, Treasure?
I'm doing great. I'm super pumped for tonight's match.
Yeah, we got Marian versus WCU, which is Western Colorado University. So first off, I think we can take a look at these rosters and see what is cooking with these different players. So looking at the screen here, we have Marian University coming up first. We have Paynes, Thwapper Boy, I think is how you say that.
Love
Claus,
it.
Icy, and Dusky Games. So that's an interesting way of spelling each one of those names, but we love it.
Nice and anti-phonetic almost. It's a young roster as well. I think we're looking at two young rosters. This one having just Thwapper Boy there as a non-freshman in his junior year. On the other side as well, on Western Colorado. Oh, there it is. There we go. We got them all. There's Claude Livid Boo. They call me Smalls and Cam Lewis. So another pretty young team, but they do have a little more breadth to the age of all these players.
Yeah, some sophomores and then the senior, of course. We got to highlight the seniors in the last go of it. This is now
Especially the spring semester.
Exactly. So almost getting to that completion. In this matchup, though, we will have a best of three, as always. Regular season best of threes, and then even in the playoffs, I think, until we get to those grand finals, it's pretty much best of threes all the way through. So let's take a look at those maps, though, and see what was banned out. What do we have for the map pool that we will be seeing? Clubhouse first, Oregon second. The first two maps you see on the screen were banned out. And so then the last two bans would lead us to Chalet being the decider. So Clubhouse first here. What are your thoughts on going into that map, Trish?
Yeah, I mean, once again, we really commonly, I think this will be the case for most of this season going forward. We're going to be seeing these maps a lot. These are the ones that are just absolutely the favorites of most players at the moment. Oregon and Clubhouse especially being infamous for being so well played. So these are loved and cherished, and in some places a little more disliked than others because of that. Some people say a little bit this gets boring, but it's always going to be a great test of your fundamental skills. Chalet, on the other hand, being a little more new and fresh.
Yeah, I love Chalet. I hope we get there, of course. One of my favorite maps. But even on the other stream right now that's currently going, obviously NECC has two streams now this season, something new. So always go check out that game as well. That's going to be, what was it? I'm trying to look right now. It's CUW versus Fanshawe. That was it. So that is on the other channel. Take a look at that. But I think we're almost ready to jump into the matchup here. Something to keep in mind is there's the different divisions. This is going to be that challenger division. So this is kind of the middle of the pack division as far as the ranks or ratings of these players might go. So we're kind of right in the middle where you're going to see some things that might be small mistakes, at a higher level. So I'm just trying to set the bar of what expectations should be here, right? I know some casters can get pretty upset when they're used to seeing a certain level play and then things don't go according to play. I'm just gonna go with the expectation that they're still learning, these teams here, but they still have a good fundamental framework that they're going to be working with.
Yeah, I like the challengers level of play because for the most part they are quite competent at all of these things that they're going to be doing. So you get to look at some more specific niche things that need to be fixed, as opposed to figuring out how to play cohesively as a team or anything. So they'll have these pre-established notions of what they should be doing. They know what they're doing as far as the ban phase goes, and it's Clubhouse. I think most of us who have ended up here are going to know that the Thatcher ban is definitely going to be our first step to a Clubhouse banning phase. He just can't go through on this map.
No, I mean, he's always going to be banned up pretty much, right? Unless we have a weird, funky ban phase, but almost always banned. Now, the other thing that's interesting here is the Maverick being banned, because that's both the primary walls being opened up people, right? The two ops that get those things done very quickly. Maverick, a little more time, but still kind of guarantees that it can get open unless some good explosive work can come out from the defense. Now, a lot more difficult to get things opened up. Of course, getting the Kate out will allow things to be a little bit easier, since they have to play the denial on the floor now.
Yeah, Western Colorado here, they chose to make that Maverick ban. They have to attack first, so that's something that they're going to have to live with. But something they're not going to be able to live with is the Kaid sticking around. Mira is just going to be really strong on this map. She sets up a lot of phenomenal anchoring points for the team. But that Kaid having the electric walls that just could not be dealt with without the Maverick or Thatcher would have been a death sentence to an attacking phase. Really would have given us one of those 0-6 halves right off the bat to go back and forth. That's like a guaranteed overtime match if you're doing that.
Right. I mean, that has been what I've seen. Something else to take into account is that Valkyrie is going to be available here. So I expect to see some really good cam placements and, you know, maybe even some run outs or peek outs based on the information that they can gather from those cams. Looking at the lineup, they're going to actually 6-pick over to Cali. I mean, with things having to be on the ground, then that will allow her gadget to actually be useful here. Sometimes with the Cade, you know, her gadget can't clear those if they're not right on
Attackers
the wall
need to
itself.
locate and
So,
defuse bombs.
a very good adjustment, but I still wonder how good she can be because she does have that sniper rifle, which in this game, you know, you need a pretty good fire rate normally.
Yeah, this is a very measured decision here that Western Colorado is making because they did force a situation where a bandit is going to be used or potentially a mute otherwise if they don't want to go hard electrification. But they're going to be necessary for keeping walls closed on a couple of points. You look at both the construction walls and, of course, CCTV right here where Claus is reinforcing and setting up to be that main bolster against an attack directly onto site. So
5 seconds remaining.
making that ban and already having a player who's ready to pick up the Cali, that's an
Attackers
interesting
must
thing
locate
right
and
there, right
defuse a
off
bomb.
the bat. So Boo will definitely be a point for paying some extra attention to, in addition to the other two hard breachers that have been brought on the team.
Seeing some chat going on where they're saying there's some issues possibly going on, so we'll continue to monitor that and see what's going on. But the round will continue to play out as is right now. Someone's having a mouse issues, it sounds
See you
like,
on the other side.
so that's not good. Hopefully they can get that resolved here. Well, anyway, looking at what they brought for hard breach, it is that Hibana, and the thermite is also available. So Hibana going to do some work on garage, which is pretty normal, right? Get some lines of sight opened up. Try and give yourself possibly some entryway into garage if they so desire. Thermite, he's going to be the one getting that primary wall. The breach will come through now after that Cali charge it. Gotten rid of the bandits, like we had mentioned, being the
Attackers have
possibility.
located a
And,
bomb.
well, she's already done her job. Now she can stand and overwatch in the background and just watch out for anyone who might try to swing that breach. But pushing is unwise in this case as Frosta is going to get a kill onto Cam Louie. But the down does come through onto them from Livid in the refrag, but they just maybe don't have that information yet since they aren't going in and finishing that kill off.
Well, Frosta here downed. It's even on the man count on the board right now. Great time being made by Western Colorado, opening up the walls. That's a lot of the... I mean, that's exactly what you want in the first minute, especially in a game where you're not going to have that Maverick available. So they're trucking on right on time, but they're going to need to start pinching up into sight and establishing the crossfires that will actually allow them to get into the site and get that bomb planted and get Claude all the way in there.
I'm wondering if he has the mouse bug then, which is different than, well, I mean, it would be the cursor thing too. You'd think that they would mention that, but
Bomb has been located.
nothing happening so far. They're kind of just going to troll here. They put that in chat in case anyone's wondering what is going on here because of that issue that was going on. So hopefully that can be resolved. I don't know if this player is going to have to leave and come back or what we're going to end up doing here, but this round's kind of foregone at this point because of that glitch happening up. I don't know if they're calling for a rehost or what. We'll have to clarify that with them. But that is going to be the player who had that mouse issue. That's the person who just left. So hopefully we can pause and fix the problem because we know that rehost sucks.
Yes, hopefully once we get to those last 35 seconds, they'll fix that. And they're given plenty of time to get back, reconnect, and everything may as well play out that time. But right off the bat, what we were able to see before this rehost or side on was a very formidable attack coming off from Western Colorado. Marian, we got to see a little bit of the flank play there. Frost obviously traded right off the bat. Oh god. Boo taking so many lives. So many teammates' lives.
5 seconds.
Just a work of art right here. Trying to get some off practice. Kelly. Yeah, not
Operators,
happening. Her
you're out
gun
of
really
time.
isn't the greatest weapon to try and no scope with. I'll say that. Doesn't have the greatest accuracy, but we'll see. I'm not sure if they had called for an official rehost or are we pausing here. I guess that's the real question as we try and figure this out. But while that's resolved, we'll come back to our lovely faces here, Tresh, of course, with your lovely background as well. I
Oh
love it.
yeah.
The loggers.
Oh,
It's
you know what we
always
say around here:
always a
loggers,
treat.
poggers.
Oh Jesus! All right.
Oh yeah. So that's a quick shout out to Lakeland Community College and my students here. I love you, boys. Uh, anyways, so that's the thing that's gonna happen where we're gonna lose some rounds. It's a day of a couple glitches already. That's just how it is sometimes. But still no less amped for the gameplay once we're able to get back in it and actually get to see them in action. I am still excited to see Western Colorado playing with the Cali, and I'm even more anticipating seeing what the move is from Marian in response. 6 rounds from now, once they get that opportunity to switch off and have to make the attack on Clubhouse with neither Thatcher nor the Maverick.
Right, like, well, what are they going to do? It makes sense if they go upstairs to bring the Cali, but if they're basement, then they don't. Cade's banned, so you don't need it for that. You can get the hatches
Yeah.
for free. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but that's the thing you could do though, is you could throw the other team off. They think you're going to go upstairs. Well, actually, we'll start downstairs, make them bring the Cali. That way, it's not as useful. So, I mean, there's some things that they could do maybe mentally to try and mess with the other team, having that advantage of switching into the second half versus starting off right off the bat. Because it looks like the attackers had read right into that defense, knowing that they'd go to that standard bomb site first,
Absolutely.
bring in the Cali. So they didn't make a mistake. But there's always a possibility that that could happen. Which it's not like Cali's impossible to use inside the building going to the basement attack or something. Like, you can, but it's just not nearly as useful. So we'll see if that becomes a problem later on, right? Maybe they wish they had a different gun in hand, but can only know that once it happens, right? It's
Yeah, it's one of those
hindsight kind of thing.
situations where if you're last man up, getting stuck to SPSMG, it's not the worst secondary gun. I mean, it's probably the best secondary gun, but I mean, you're gonna be going up against a lot of primary guns pushing up on the side. I mean, you're gonna end up in those situations with like a Jaeger Vigil with full-on rifles, and you got a secondary SMG in your hands. That's not really where you want to be pulling up the flank, and you're gonna be doing that more often than not with the Cali since you're staying back. Trying to use that sniper as long as you have it available, of course. But I mean, further on the basement with the kite off the board, those hatches are going to be a little more vulnerable. Hibana is still on the board. We saw her right off the bat in tandem with Thermite, so I think we'll be seeing quite a lot of Hibana. She's going to be adding lots and lots of value to the team, I think, on a basement attack, which I think we have to be anticipating more of. Both teams have to be wanting to go to basement as much as possible with this lineup.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Well, I guess. Wait, sorry, producer. Were we saying break, or are we saying they're ready to go again? Oh,
Okay.
I see. So it is a full rehost. So we will be going to a short break, getting right back as soon as that is ready. Just because sitting around talking like this will bore you to death. So we'll be right back in a minute.
I'm living up every breath. I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's facts, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death.
Hello, welcome back. We have reset everything. Hopefully this time we don't have any other bugs. That's always fun, but it happens, right? So
Yeah, what's going
once
on
again,
mainstream?
back into
Chiefs say
the
never casted
fray.
so many 90-second rounds.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. I saw Chief's comments, so we'll have to see exactly what happened over there. But right now, I will focus on the matchup. We're gonna go right back to
Oh, God.
CCTV and Cash.
It's
so
already
hopefully that
5-0.
is going to allow us here to see how this round would really unfold, as we saw a pretty interesting engagement. A trade basically as one was down, and then after that, I think they just started to troll after that because they realized, oh, that person has a bug, so why would we continue to play the round out? So here they're gonna again 6 over to that Cali, so it makes sense, right? Nothing really being changed up here on either side that I can really notice. That which I think is part of the rules too. Actually, when you rehost, you're supposed to go right back to the same lineup. So here we go, jumping in.
Oh, sorry about that, Wes. There's something wrong technically on my side over here, but now we're back into it. There we go.
Oh, do you have sound? I don't have sound.
Nah, I don't have sound right now. I was wondering if that was I was wondering if that was a continuation of my issue, but no, this time I'm okay. There we go. It's
all right, we got
and
it
we're
now.
back into it. Everything's running smoothly now. This is what we like to see. Okay, back to all the same. I think this is the same operators from everyone. It is anyways. But speaking of the defense, we talked about the offensive line quite a bit. So most of this is pretty standard. The castle on CCTV and Cash is a little less common to see though.
Yeah, I was thinking that too when I first saw him last round before we had the rehost and all that, so didn't have time to comment. So thanks for bringing that up. It's a point that is important. I think Castle, we see more played in today's game. It just buys a little bit more time, a little bit more flexibility.
That one
on the
scared me
defense.
right there. Did you see
know,
that?
right?
He
Just-
barely got
whoa.
enough hit time
Yeah, I know,
before
right?
his shot.
It's playing a dangerous game there, buddy. Oh, Livid's trying to get in on the action right off the bat, and saw that and took advantage of just clearing it. They have extra breaching charges, right? But the other thing that too, is they have the sledge, so they're gonna get it for free. But I guess where else are you gonna use your breaching charges on this? Not like there's not many places. Maybe Hatch, which sledge you can also get. So you can use them pretty sparingly, or not sparingly, pretty loosely, we'll say. But they're gonna get the wall open just like last time. Cali gonna clear it out. This is exactly what you'd expect. Frost is gonna open Cali Camelus again, so things are repeating themselves just like we saw before. It's kind of ironic. But in this case,
all perfect for the sake of competitive integrity.
right. Frost isn't gonna get down this time though. That's the difference.
That is going to make quite a difference too, since he's showed that he can consistently get that first frag 2 times in a row. So let's see what he does on another entry, since they weren't able to find a refrag on him this time. He's taking his time, but still watching the same angle. This time Western Colorado doesn't want to mess with it though. They've already sunk some time and effort in there, but it might be a flank coming out from Livid playing alone in Oil Pit once again.
Let's say they're kind of creeping up through oil. I'm not sure what they're going to gain from it. The question here is, why are you putting all those Hibanas on that when you just needed 2 to get rid of the castle barricade? Either way, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I was going to see Cloud getting that kill onto Frosted. So that's the refrag coming in a bit late, but it's the same death that we saw last time. It's a different player getting the kill, I think. But it's just kind of funny that the rehost for this is kind of replaying the same way now that they're actually in the game. no bugs. So that's just a little bit of information that we can take with us and push forward. But they're only down to a minute now. This isn't a lot of time, and they have the wall open, they have the windows open, so they have the crossfires that they'd like. They can go for a plant soon, but they really have to still be aware of this player on red. Livid getting that kill on the Pains, though, is going to allow them to have a man advantage now on the attacking side of things. So now they can start trying to push that advantage, get this plant.
Livid has a silenced AK as well. The C4 goes out, as plays perfectly to take out Claude before that defuse is going to go down. Another one being flung out. It's going to damage Boo, but that's not quite where they need it to be to actually deny a plant a second time. I don't know if they'll be able to hear Boo putting down the plant. They definitely don't have the C4 available. There's a couple kills coming out. The attacker's poised perfectly to watch into sight. Wapper Boy is all on his own. This time his Castle Barricade won't save him from getting domed.
Yeah, Livid using that AK with the silencer on it, so you never know where the shots are coming from. There's no indicator with that, but the damage is going to be lessened. So you saw a few bullets were needed to take them out. Here coming that C4 in the replay here has beautiful stuff coming out and catching the plant, but it just wasn't quite enough. The positions and the coverage from those attackers were perfect for the post plant, and defenders, valiant effort, but not able to get anything further trouble. Second C4 did miss on that player on CC window, which I think kind of was the end of it all. They needed that kill to clear one less angle to watch out for. We're going to see them go to the same bomb site again here, it looks like. We'll see this time what they're going to do to adjust to this attack that allows them to get the walls open pretty quickly.
I would really like to see another situation like that play out again. We did see that. It's kind of funny how that mirrored the first time we did round one, because it was the same thing from Western Colorado, and I was watching for it this time as well. After the first minute, they blazed through the initial utility opening. They got all of the miniature objectives that they need. They got the wall open, they got a player on CC window, they've got pressure coming up through garage. That's looking great, but they didn't quite know what to do with it next. They're able to get into sight, and fortunately for them, Claude's death was the opening that they needed to bait out the C4s and get the plant down. But I think the fault here for Marian is not finding the retake that they need. I think they're relying on those C4s as opposed to proper positioning. So they opened themselves up to some of those default post-plant angles. So I really want to see them get another chance to retake site and see if that will repeat itself, because that might be a real thorn in their side if they can't stop Western Colorado from putting down diffuser, and that's something they're going to be thinking of as well, especially with that earlier 6 picked away from Montaigne.
Well, Cloud going to bait out a bandit charge, as they know that this bandit can bandit trick mini. He's going to grab his bandit charge here on the wall and put it up and down, up and down. He put the wrong side, though. It's going to be too late. He almost gets down to the damage and gets finished off by Cloud. So that's going to be an easy kill. The bandit trick now paying off because he was on the wrong wall. Unfortunately, Frosta in the Raptors area is taking a lot of damage and has to contest both the breaches, which he gets shot from, and finished off Cloud. A double kill on the round. Hard Breacher is going Fragmite mode, getting the first 2 kills in this one.
Those crossfires prove real deadly for Frosta. They're just getting totally stuck, and unfortunately that's 2 deaths right off of an unfortunately failed bandit trick right there. Livid playing once again in a new position with that silenced AK, which is paying off. Great, Wapper Boy and Pains are alone, but inside with still some positions of coverage. Wapper Boy's UMP isn't quite do enough damage, though, to finish off Cam Lewis, who is able to get in there. Pains off-site, now is going to have to retake the intel alone. He's got some intel to work off, and his SMG-11 is going to sing true on Recycle first. But he's got 4 more to deal with. It's got to be an ace and a defuse. Yeah, the ads are stacked against him, and through the smoke, there's no way of telling where Livid's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, they have a normal site setup, and yet the way they're playing it isn't quite working out. And you'd think with the Maverick being banned, it would actually be easier for you. There's also, if you notice, that first round and then the second round, there wasn't anyone on window right away when they were bandit tricking. So they really actually were pretty safe doing that bandit trick. They just didn't do it properly, unfortunately. And that's going to cost them. 2 times in a row, the wall gets opened up early on. They have plenty of time then for the attackers to just play the game of finding where these bodies are. And unfortunately, they even kind of fed into the attackers as that rotate going by the soft wall, and Raptors also cost a second body. That was your Wamai Frosta in the Raptors area. That's a key position. You cannot lose that, especially not early. If it's in the last few seconds of a round, last 45 seconds maybe, you can get away with it because they're like rushing the plant, right? But as long as you have someone in that position on Raptors, you're stopping them from pushing in and getting that plant. once you lose that position, your leverage is gone. So unfortunate for them, they weren't able to bring it through either time. Here they're going to try
Attackers
base
have
now.
secured the location of a
I
bomb.
mentioned before, Cade is banned. He's the only one who can deny that hard breach on the hatches because he can throw one of his K charges up there. That's not available, so Hibana can open these hatches virtually for free. This one that Frost is getting right now in kitchen, you could
10
impact
seconds
trick
to
from below,
insertion.
meaning you shoot some bullet holes and then throw an impact up through it to hit the hard breach off of the
5
hatch.
seconds remaining.
Well, that can be done to a certain degree, but you only have, well, actually,
Attackers' objective is to
for some
defuse
reason,
the
Valk's
bomb.
actually bringing the impact, so maybe they will impact trick the kitchen hatch.
Yeah, the impact tricking is really valuable here, so keeping someone underneath with those can add so much in a situation such as this, since you're talking about the Hibanas. An additional great pick is actually the Aruni. I really like that. She's a great operator to pick anytime, but adding some more utility dump onto those, that's not just a couple Hibana pellets, opening them up every time you actually have something to oppose it a little bit more. Frosta once again playing up pretty close, trying to find an opening pick, but already is wary of the angle from the window. There's probably going to be someone there at least soon. He definitely knows that's a danger. So got to watch out for that, especially as the drones start coming in, and the Yank Flash is going to get very, very scary to stay there.
Yeah, that's why you don't really play kitchen. This is the danger. We see Boo getting a kill on Icy as well somewhere else with the Cali sniper rifle. That's all over in dirt, which we are now currently viewing. We're going to be seeing contention from Blue, trying to get an angle over there, and then also we see Clapper here by the bomb chassis in the armory. Just going to be trying to stall it out with the smoke. We're going to see a push from behind, though. Payne's looking the wrong way. Livid going to get an easy kill, and now it's a 2v5 for Marian on the defense here. Things falling apart again.
I love the coverage of angles that we're seeing from Western Colorado is really showing them this is what's having them rise above right now. Oh no, Cam Lewis behind gets Thrapper Boy. It was just, that really paints the fuller picture right there. Coming from every angle, and Marian is just not quite prepared to take the first fight, let alone like 3 fights at once, and no one is. So these are some small positioning issues that we're seeing. We talked at the beginning of the match about it being probably down to some of these more specific nitty-gritty details, and some of those are just small positioning things. On Rafters with Wamai in Garage, we saw Frosta die second after that bandit trick, and that's one of those things we're playing a little bit like up against the wall. That's actually breachable there isn't really the move, but staying by the bent elbow on the rafters and using the handrails as your cover there makes you a little less susceptible to being
Defenders,
shot
protect your
from
bombs from
outside,
being
either the
defused by
window
attackers.
or the CCTV wall. And something else going back to that round again to mention, with the bandit tricking, if you're not super comfortable with the actual bandit tricking, putting some shotgun holes in the wall before you reinforce it makes it really easy to hear where it's going to be. Makes it so much harder to mess it up if the auto cues are just a little bit confusing, and they always are confusing. Bandit tricking is like one of those lost arts, especially since Maverick's been so eminent in the meta.
This is true. Ever since his introduction, it's kind of fallen by the wayside
10
here.
seconds to insertion.
It had a potential of actually coming into the game again, and yet they
5
just
seconds
weren't
to
able to
insertion.
quite do it properly. The other thing you mentioned, though, is really some of these positions are questionable coming
objective
from
is to
Marian.
locate a
I'm not
bomb
trying to
and
be
defuse it.
lambasting them too big here, but just some things like you're playing in kitchen where they have windows and lines of sight, and your only retreating options through that hall, which has a doorway that they can watch from outside. You saw them on the chicken wire rack out there. Repelled. You see this balcony that they were repelled on. That gives you the oversight into that hallway. They cannot really contest them very easily, or even just standing here where Cam Lewis is. You see again Ivana getting out of that repel. So now Frost are putting themselves in a very difficult situation. There's no avenues of retreating, and then when they have so many avenues to throw things at you, whether that's through that freezer doorway or the window kitchen, or even someone pushing through the hallway behind you, I mean, you're just gonna get destroyed. Boo! That opening kill again going in favor of Western Colorado. This time it's going to be Icy off the board first. Frost still playing this position. It is dangerous, like we've mentioned. And keep in mind that there's plenty of throwables to be done in at this kitchen. They have the Finca, but Finca's dead now. Camlo is actually going to fall to them, so a good angle being held, and they're going to even up the man count.
This strategy from Western Colorado, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're doing just about all the exact same things, except they're not quite pushing Frosta as hard as they did last time. They are kind of waiting for him to rotate out, except for Cam Lewis, who just independently pushed him, which did cost him a life, losing Livid on the flank as well. That's a loss of someone who's been massively effective, 7 and 1 so far. That might hurt here as they're already down on the man count, and 2 of their players have their locations very full, well known. In there's no smokes on the board this time, so they can't be totally shut down, but they're stuck.
Yeah, Livid was the one who came on the backside as well, so Pains and Blue not going to get flanked this time. That body has already been found by teammate or by them. I can't quite remember. I think it was actually him who got that kill, so good for them to make sure that they have stopped that from happening a second time. A 3v4 and one of your bodies has a sniper rifle in hand, so it's not the greatest weapons you'd want in a man disadvantage for Western Colorado. Pains going to get another kill on Naboo. A nice shot, but it's still a little bit of hope left for Western Colorado. It's 2v4. But still, they have no sight control. They have no leverage here for themselves. So they're just going to have to kind of push in and hope they can frag out.
Yeah, Recycle First has been playing pretty far back, not able to make much of an impact on the round so far. I think mostly face checking all the way down, and Frost is ready for the pixel peek, landing the headshot immediately. Block's left all alone to push the exact same angle, but Frosta is displaced for whatever reason, leaving Claude still alone, but against only 3 as opposed to 4 opponents. He's got to push up, but Pains has been making some crazy angles down, out sniping the actual sniper. So walking down these long hallways is kind of scary around there as well.
Oh, back of armory, they have some holes opened up. That's going to be Claws down, too. So this actually is doable by Cloud. It's still a hard situation to win, but still, nonetheless, is possible. They're going to have to help their teammate up if they want to get this 3v1. The plant is coming through. They're going to see if they can swing on him. They're going to see Pains has the angle, and he finds the body. That's a close one, but still plenty of time for them to work with. They're going to get the defuse, and that's going to be Marian finding their first round here in the basement of
Defenders have disabled the bomb.
There we go. Pains really making a great showing here. Just straight up out shooting the competition in most of these avenues already. That's really important for Marian to be making onto the board here. They've been struggling to find that leverage that they need. Some of this, I think, was Western Colorado not quite doing as much of their due diligence as they did on the previous rounds. So we'll see if they're able to keep up that same pace that they set in the first couple rounds, or if there's going to be a little more of a marker of the true matchup we have.
It was an interesting thing. They had played it well. They had someone on the rappel to watch the retreat, and then they had someone get on window, I think, in kitchen with that freezer push. This time, no one was on the window. So all the Wamai had to do was watch that doorway, and then they peeked into it, and he gets the kill. So good job from Frost, not trying to take anything away from it. But it also wasn't played, as you said, the best by Western Colorado. They could have had more angles available to them that they had them. They just didn't utilize them. And so that player is allowed to just sit in a position where, in strategic terms, was not a very good one, to be fair. So either way, they get that window, and now they're going to try CC again. They've lost this bomb site twice, so it's interesting to see them try this instead of maybe the gym and bedroom defense. But, you know, maybe they have an idea now of what they can do to stop this push, as last time they did lose bodies early, especially your Raptors player. So I think that if that player can stay alive, obviously, that might be a very different round.
Yeah, first 2 picks were a little more extraordinary last round at the very least. They're mixing some stuff up. Pains has been brought to deal with the potential of a Ying making a reappearance. Unfortunately, she has not, but the resistance to the smokes and flashbangs may prove quite profitable, especially against Claude's smokes. And he's invariably going to be looking for the plants if everything goes to Western Colorado's plan. Quite a few Hibana pellets used right there, but the positioning, as always, is great right there at the top corner. Is going to give them some more leverage out into rafters to try and put more pressure on Frost, who's playing deeper into that corner this time, waiting for the opportunity to strike. The mute jammers on only one side, they're a little less stopping the hard breach from going down, but instead positioning it on the right side.
Well, that thermite is actually going to use that mute jammer's range against it. Every little snippet of the wall. It's going to allow them to open it up, and then that explosion actually got rid of the mute jammer, so now they can use their second charge. Now Cloud getting a first opening kill again on this breach. Take out Frostus. That's again the Raptors player. The position we had talked about being key is already lost, so it's interesting to see that happen yet again. Now they can push into garage for free, basically, these attackers, as long as they want to.
Yeah, there's been no resistance all the way up through construction. So now I've got 3 attackers out there with the angle deep into cash room. So the pressure is coming from all sides. Cash is going to be the only place that they're not getting shot at from. And Red Stairs is dangerous as well. Thrapper Boy down as well. Icy and Pains are left all alone. 5 men up in the plant going down from Claude. I don't even know if they've needed to use those smokes.
Attackers are activating the bomb.
Well, the plant was right in his face, but he didn't see it through that soft wall. The angle is a little bit odd, and there's only a little bit of a punch hole looking like on the bottom right you can see. So probably just didn't see the person planting. Either way, they get 1 kill, so it's not a flawless, but Recycle can quickly cap it off with a win, and that's going to be Marian falling again. They're only 1-4 now, I believe 1-3 now, excuse me, on their defense. So they need to find these last 2 rounds if they want to have any sort of success, because it's kind of hard to come back from that. When you're on defense with Maverick Band, you should be having an advantage here.
Yeah, it's not feeling great here so far. Western Colorado definitely playing into what they were expecting here, kind of shaking things up with the bans that we mentioned right off the bat. We get to see the gym bedroom hold for the first time. It's going to be the last time for regulation defense. So Marian is vying for that last point to be gotten. A 5-1 is near disastrous, but a 4-2 is definitely doable. And that's what we're playing for today. That's what this round's stakes are really going to be. Switching out the Warden didn't really pay off. Getting the Valkyrie, who is almost guaranteed to get value.
Let's second guess myself. It is 4-1. Okay, so now, as you mentioned, though, that means this is the last round of their defense, and then they go on attack. And I don't think the attackers really should have an advantage here. Yeah, they can get the hatches in basement, but basement's the site that they want. So that's the one that you would think would be the most probable that they would lose, actually, if you're just looking at the operator bans alone. But in this case, they just can't seem to have an answer to that Cali opening up the wall. And this time, we've noticed last time that Meat Jammer just didn't get the wall fully, so they didn't even use the Cali. They just used Thermite 1 to just make an explosion, get rid of the Meat Jammer off to the left side of the wall, and then the second one can actually get the breach that they really wanted on the wall to allow them to have
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Seeing things like that makes you think, well, if they're able to just move around what you're doing, then you're not even making them work that hard, right? You gotta make them sweat a little bit more than that, make them use those Cali charges. In this case, though, it does seem like Western Colorado has a plan of action that they are going into this game with and just executing very, very well. Marian looks a little bit more lost. They don't seem as comfortable, I think, is really what's coming through. And I think part of that is also because if you look at Western Colorado, they're the ones who banned Maverick. They're the ones who planned for that. So they're the ones who already knew they're going to be using a Cali, and then there would be no mirrors as well to try and counter that. So that's the thing. They just seem like they're a little bit more prepared for these bans.
The early picks have been players blindsided over the course of most of these rounds. Thwapper just not being ready for that to be open right off the bat. I mean, you know they brought Sledge every single time. Those are still the castles on the outside wall are mostly going to be slowing them down unless you can get an early pick on Camp Lewis there. They've got information into sight right here, but Payne's watching the window. It's going to keep it safer, even with frags coming in through the windows. The defenders a little bit displaced, but not totally out of it, right?
Well, Ice is being taken out by Recycle, so that's already 2 defenders down, but Rasta has an angle, and he gets a double kill on Recycle and Livid. That's going to even up the man count. His teammate can't find Cloud, though, as he pushes in. Now they have Jim control. The swing from the window, but actually he's not the one to get the kill. It's Boo with the backup weapon on the Cali. Cloud finishing things off, and that's going to be another round against Marian. They're down 1-5 like we had worried about for them, and that's very concerning. Western Colorado, though, doing really well. Up a huge advantage on this map.
Yeah, I don't envy them this attacking half, especially staring down the barrel of a 5-1. And on this weird band clubhouse, this is going to be a hard map to attack on. Western Colorado made it look easy. Marian, they're going to have to coordinate really well. It's all about finding these coordinated gunfights that way you can force your opponents into really dangerous crossfires, which Western Colorado has been consistently excelling at here. We're going to be seeing a little bit of a different lineup, a very different way of problem solving this ban list. We've got the Flores, the Nomad coming back again, and Ash and Buck for soft destruction.
A different lineup, certainly, than what we had just
Attackers need
seen.
to
So each
locate
team
and
going to
defuse
have their
the
own
bomb.
preferences. Who knows what one is correct? I am always hesitant when I see that Ash pick, because I'm like, Zophia's better. She has the LMG, which are overpowered right now. She has 4 projectiles versus 2 on the Ash. They each have 2 breaching charges, and yet there's 2 concussions on the Zofia. And then on top of it, you know, it's just... honestly, that's really it. It's mainly the utility, and it's mainly the gun. I don't really have anything else to say. I guess maybe if you like 3 speeds, you can say Ash has that. She does have breaching charges,
seconds to
so
go.
there's that too. But Sophia also can bring breaching charges. So
5 seconds left.
there's just no real advantage to taking Ash over Sophia, and it just pains me
Attackers
to
are
see it
moving
when
out to
Sophia's
locate a
not
bomb
banned.
and defuse it.
I love that Cam Lewis has some debris stuck in him right now.
I
He's
know.
been carrying it around. We can see it up there in the aerial view. But I don't think that's gonna be coming across this vision. We probably would.
What?
Oh, wait, we got another one.
Oh, look
Baines
at
with
that.
an even bigger piece of something there. I love it. He doesn't get to see it though. They hear
Shrapnel
the
damage
mute
just in his
right
head,
here.
just walking around with it.
They hear the mute, so they're gonna have to deal with it. Maybe from below, maybe with some explosives through the drone hole. Frosta once again finding the first pick. Here he's run right in with the 3-speed, and he's looking to get the soft destruction underneath. Ooh, maybe not quite familiar with exactly where it is. Been a while, but he's gonna open it up right now. That should get that mute jammer out of the way, and the hard destruction should be
I think you missed it.
safe. Oh,
It's a little
oh
closer
no,
than
it's a
that.
little further
It's a little
up.
closer than that.
We got this. We got this.
You have another one, man. Just use the other one. And he's using G360
Reload him.
instead of the R4C, man. That's interesting.
Yeah. It is getting a little bit worrisome to be down here. We see Boo pushing up. He's heard some noise from down there, but Claws is ready using underbarrel shotgun blasts. I think from Icy earlier on to open up a line of sight. That's so good, and I think the job is done finally. That mute jammer is definitely off of the board, and the hard destruction is there. It's taken a little bit longer, but not very much, like 15 seconds longer than the attack we saw earlier. But it's also brought them a couple
A
frags.
bomb has been located.
Cam Lou is at least trying to bring it back to the team, only down 1 man now, but still advantage in Marian's favor. But a minute and a half is only remaining, so halfway through the round. And heal one of the best gunners on the other side. So Livid and Cloud, who each have 8 kills throughout 6 rounds, and this is now the 7th round. They can even add more to that tally. I think they're putting in through the Raptors. They have
Bomb
that
located by
advantage here.
attackers.
Livid gets away for free. What? How do they not catch him on the rotate? They have the breach open, but both players outside the breach, I think, are at cams right now. So that's just ironic timing. Still, positions of these defenders are still scary because there is 2 C4s in pocket. So if they try and push in and get this plant, they're gonna have to bait out those C4s or try and shoot them before they can throw them. There's also a Valve cam, if you saw that, in towards the southeast part of CSD, so they'll be able to see exactly where this plant goes down and then utilize that information to get these kills.
Livid really had me worried. They're standing on top of those Goyos, but barely made it out. A couple more kills coming out for the attack. Icy finding 2, and it leaves us with Cam Lewis stuck out in garage. He's got to make a long flank to get up there. He hears the calls are out. They've got the cameras, but he doesn't quite see it. That red ping is going to lie a little bit. He does find the head, though. Pains in plenty of pain now, but there's still 3 more, one of them outside. It's going to be pretty easy for the attackers to play time, stay patient, and take their round win.
Air Jab's gonna knock him back. This is all just waiting for the death to happen at this point. Unless he can win 1v1s 3 times in a row with very little time remaining. They're not gonna give it to him though. They just bait him out in claws. Gets the kill over by CC Window, just playing in that corner like a rat, waiting for the time to pounce in and get that kill. Marian finding their 2nd round. Good job from them. Their attack looked a little odd at first, right? We saw the Ash just run and get a kill. After that, stalled out because they couldn't find that mute jammer right off the bat. But eventually it was found, and indeed, they just carried it to fruition towards a round win. Good job from them. I just want to also point out that they got the kills on the 2 defenders at the end there who had C4s in pocket, both of them falling without even being able to utilize that. That really saved the round.
Oh, going back to being terrified about Livid there, standing on 2 Goyo shields. I understand well, it's a little bit insane. I love it. Like the good kind of insane, having 2 Goyo shields on default plants. It denied the ability for the attackers to actually get that plant down for almost an entire minute after they had crossfires on CCTV, which is not something you get to see very often, to have that much dominance over a room that the attacking team has already effectively
He
taken.
still has that thing. He still has shrapnel, man. Look at that.
Yes.
What is going on?
I love it.
There's like these long pieces of metal looking like just sticking out of their bodies. So Cam Lewis, I hope you're all right. Looks like they're just toughing it out. Not gonna let the wound bother them. It looks like they actually got rid of the shrapnel and put it on the wall for a barricade.
Interesting. Computers are magic, man.
New feature in their game.
10
Could
seconds
use
remaining.
upgrading. Well, they're gonna get the hatches like normal. They have Evil Eyes. We haven't
5
seen the
seconds
Mesa
left.
being played yet, so I like to see that coming out. And Recycle on that Jaeger, the gun, not
Attackers
as
objective
good
is to
as it
locate a
used to
bomb
be
and
after
defuse it.
the nerf to it,
Jamming
but I still
deployed.
like it. Still usable, right? But the ADSs are really why you're bringing that character, and certainly there's a lot of things to stop, especially those smokes. We saw smokes that cut off a lot of lines of sight. They don't have any way of seeing through it except for the evil eyes. So just giving them one more safety net to try and stop that from being a problem. But my main thing here is going to be that Maestro. What are you going to do with that Alda in hand and then the evil eyes? How are they going to clear it? They really only have the ash charges to clear those. Otherwise,
I've been staring at that too. We all agree. Yeah, I see those 2 projectiles being the only 2 that you can use to clear that Maestro cam out of kitchen. And if that's all that they have and they don't place Frosta in there to deal with it, then that Maestro is just going to be able to sit there and patiently wait for the hard breach to go down and happily zap away at them. So that's going to be such a powerful piece of utility in response to so few explosives being brought by this unconventional attacker lineup. Once again, we've seen attacker getting aggressive, poking up with his giant triangle attached to his head through dirt tunnel. Frosta again looking for an early pick, but the tunnel is already being watched. A drone's going to be a good start to figuring out what they're up against.
I mean, maybe this is like some infection because I'm seeing more and more of these players are having these pieces of things just sticking out of their bodies. So maybe gotta be on the lookout. Maybe this is the new infection mode that Ubisoft is bringing. Gonna see that evil eye we mentioned being pivotal. It's just gonna shoot out the hard breach for free. Livid getting that kill on the Frosta as well. That's the Ash. So no way are they gonna be able to clear out those evil eyes now. That was your only destructibility that could get rid of those evil eyes, and now that player is dead. So they're gonna have to figure out a way of circumventing these evil eyes, not letting them become a problem. But Boo is going to be a problem getting Thwapper Boy, and well, things are looking bad for Marian. They're in a 3v5 or 3v4 now after a kill from Ice lands on the can't lose. But Boo finding another one. That's 2 in a row. That's a triple kill on the round. Now everything's up to Icy, who's on the main stairs, and Recycle gets an easy kill as they are on their cams. And Marian falling another time, allowing WCU to put this one on map point.
This is a scary place to be here. Getting the first round of attack feels really good, but not being able to follow it up, it is a more difficult site to be dealing with. We thought that basement would be a harder one to defend, but these teams are playing very differently than what we saw in our heads. I think we all do. So it looks like basement is turning out to be a lot more healthy for the defenders who have some nice defensive cover to be taking, especially in armory and in generator, overlooking into dirt and looking down the long hallway between main stairs and church and armory. So these long points of gunfights are what we're seeing really making each round.
Western Colorado, they're not going to go back to CC. They went there first.
Attackers
They
need to
lost it.
locate
They
and
went
defuse
downstairs
as
and
many
won. Now they're going
bombs
to try
as they
that
can.
third bomb site, which is the gym and bedroom defense. The thing about the attacking side of Marian is they have now swapped over to Iana. So Iana is going to bring those grenades. They're going to have a little bit more destruction available to them with the explosive powers of those grenades. And they've gone 6 in the pocket of Banes if they brought it as their backup, which I hope they did, because there's no reason not to. I will always say that. Iana should always have the gun 6 in the back pocket. If you don't, then you're not bringing utility that your team could really use. That's my philosophy. In any case, they're going to need it as well because they do not have a sledge, and they're going to see the castle barricades being put up. So, and on top of it, their evil eyes are still here. So, in fact, if you look at it, if Yana brought the Gone 6 and the grenades, that's 3 things, and then 2 on the Ash with her breaching charges, that's 5 things, and there are 4 castle barricades and 2 evil eyes for them to clear out. So you better hope that those breaching charges are going to be able to take care of some of those castle barricades, otherwise you're not going to have enough.
Yeah, luckily I do think they have enough to deal with it at this point. And they've got some extra heart breaching as well. Icy bringing them on the Bucks. They've got actually quite a few options to deal with here, and the Buck choice does give them the option to get some soft destruction from below. So hopefully we can see Icy going below and starting to displace some of the defenders. Ace charge is going off right off the bat. I think that's just above a mute jammer, where the mute jammer won't reach. Yeah, there we go. So now it's going to open that up. They can toss an explosive in there. Maybe if Pain comes over there with a grenade. But otherwise, they have a line of sight that's going to cut off rotations between the 2 sites.
Yeah, up and down repel. Ah, nice. Boo getting a kill on the Frost. So that's going to be a good lurk coming through and finding out the Ash. She likes to creep in. I was also a little disappointed with Frosta, though. They were underneath and using Ash charge just to open a wooden barricaded door. Seems like a waste of the utility after you saw how badly you needed it last time to clear out some of the evil eyes even that were taking care of your hard breacher on the hatch last round. So in this case, they're not going to be able to do anything further for their team still. So this angle also, if you notice, is just not quite deep enough to get a steep angle on those meat jammers. So while they have this wall somewhat open, yeah, they actually can't do anything with it. So they're still going to be stalling out over there. The Buck pushing in from the CC area is going to also be trying to do some stuff here, but yet again, alone and time dwindling as they just are looking lost on what to do.
The Maestro is just going to barely miss a drone, getting out with just a moment and barely that second life still up. Getting some more intel. Marian needs a little bit more to work on right here. They're not quite sure what they're up against, and they had no idea that game was down below. Coming up the stairs, another player off the board, and that's even more of the explosives, so that is going to leave them back in that same basket that we've seen previously. No explosives left to throw at the utility. Icy's taking some heavy hits as well, but he's still able to make this push. He doesn't have the explosives to open up the castle barricade, so he's got to be able to vault over through these sight angles. So it's really hard for him to deal with this extended hold. And Thwapper Boy, with no longer an available option to get in through Jacuzzi, while he's going to have to start choosing a different door to do it on.
Oh, I see. Trying to get some damage done, and Recycle's going to bail. So they took some damage. They come back to the door trying to find it, but they can't finish it off. And Icy will finish them off. So now they put themselves into the 2v4. We saw Cam Lewis also getting a kill there on Claw and the main stairs, just lurking around, just doing dirty work on that Jaeger. And now time is down to the last seconds. They have not been able to find any avenues that have been stymied. And now Cam Lewis getting a triple on the round. That's going to put us into the end of this one. Another one for consolation, the quad to finish off the map. Map 1 going to Western Colorado University.
Unfortunately, I think that Marian attack was a little disconcerted. A couple players, they knew what they needed to do, but they didn't have quite the coordination to get someone in place to help them do it. You look at Thwapper Boy having to run around and use the window to open up those mute jammers. That way he could get himself in. It's the screw it, I'll do it myself because all my teammates are dead now. But I think just a little bit more coordination on them could really help. And it might just be a little bit of unfamiliarity with the map that might be. This is Western Colorado's map choice, so where they're feeling the most comfortable. And I don't think these teams probably have too much information on what maps the other ones like. So this might be the very best map for Western Colorado that Marian just didn't know to ban out. So I think that's definitely a thing that could play into this, and maybe Clubhouse. Maybe they're a rarity, a team that doesn't scrim on Clubhouse every single day. So I'm willing to give them that. It might just be not knowing the map inside and out here, but it is a real valuable thing there. And I think we got some great little jewels of map knowledge here that we got to look at.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they learned too. You know, they just watched the other team come prepared, right? They came and they knew what pushes they wanted to do. They worked and coordinated well together. We did see Marion had flashes of it, but again, just the idea of like the main thing I would take away is that you need more destruction, more explosives to take care of things like Evil Eyes, because it comes back to haunt you. And not only that, you need to actually be around each other where you're needed. Like the Ash, she could have helped from below, but also got on the window on highway to shoot through gym to try and clear those jammers out from there. But mainly also the Yana had the grenades. They had the wall open. The Ace did a smart thing, opened up where the mute jammer couldn't hit, and all you had to do is lob a nade right over that breach, and it would have hit the mute jammer, and then you could open the wall. So just learning things like that, learning coordination. It does take time, but certainly they're going to need to have that awareness of those things if they want to win the second map. So hopefully they've learned quickly. But we do always have just a short break after every map, and then we'll move on. Hopefully we'll be back in just a minute or two. Just make sure those players are ready to go, and we'll be right back with you as soon as possible. Stay with us.
Livid has a silence, it won't save him from getting domed.
Yeah, Livid Using that AK.
Get in there. Payne's off site. Now he's going to have to retake the intel alone. He's got some intel to work off and recycle first. But he's got 4 more to deal with. It's got to be an ace and a defuse. He's got to watch out for that, especially as the drones start coming in. And the Yank Flash is going to get very...
Throw things at you, whether that's through that freezer doorway or the window of the kitchen, or even someone pushing through the hallway behind you. I mean, you're just going to get destroyed. Plenty of throwables to be done in at this kitchen. They have the Finca.
This strategy from Western Colorado, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're doing just about all the pretty far back, not able to make much of an impact on the round so far. I think Frost is ready for the pixel peek, landing the headshot immediately. Block's left all alone to push the exact same angle.
Plant is coming through. They're going to see if they can swing on him. They're going to see Payne's has the angle, and he finds the...
They're with the angle deep into cash room, so the pressure is coming from all sides. Cash is going to be the only place that they're not getting shot at from, and red stairs is dangerous. I don't even know if they've needed to use those smokes.
Attackers are activating the bomb.
Well, the recycle can quickly cap it off with a win, and that's going to be Marian falling again. Then there would be no mirrors as well to try and counter that. So that's the thing. They just get
Quickly out of it, right?
Well, Ice is going to get taken out by recycle, so that's already 2 defenders down. But Frosta has an angle. That's going to even up the man count. His teammate can't find Cloud though as he pushes in. Now they have Jim finishing things off, and that's going to be another round against Marian. They're down with
They hear the music, they're gonna have to deal with it, maybe from below, maybe this thing explodes. Yeah. It is getting a little bit worrisome to be down here. We see Boo pushing up, he's heard some noise, and I think the job is done finally. That mute jammer is definitely off of the board.
And they're in a 3v5 or 3v4 now after a kill from Ice lands on Campbell. That's 2 in a row, that's a triple kill on the round. Now everything's up to Icy.
Who's on some more intel, Wes. Marian needs a little bit more to work on right here as well, but he's still able to make this push. He doesn't have the explosives to open up the...
Oh, Icy trying to get some damage done, and Recycle's going to bail. It's down to the last seconds. They have not been able to find any avenues that have been stymied.
Like memories after death, to be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? and I don't feel no shame. It's a mood you lack, I go crazy. Nah, bitch, I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, NECC. This is the B stream, and there is still another match going on in the A stream. Just want to point that out. We just saw a banger of a game. It was pretty one-sided, though. WCU, Western Colorado, taking out Marian on the first map. Their map choice, though, as you had pointed out, Trej, on Clubhouse. Now we're going to see the second map, of course, Marian's, which is Oregon. So any thoughts before we jump in? I'd love to go to Chile. It's one of my favorite maps. So, I mean, it's just new. It's fresh, right? It's kind of like Bank, honestly, after it was reworked. I love that map now, too. It's fun to watch. So it's fun to comment, but it's also fun to play. I think players just, get bored of the same maps over and over, which is why I think they're going to rework some of these maps again, eventually here. I think Consulate probably should be reworked right now while it's out of the map pool. That'd be great. But anyway, jumping in. We'll see if the bans here are kind of similar or not to before. We did see the Maverick was banned map 1, which is a little odd, not like unheard of, but not in the meta these days, it seems. Here, though, on Oregon, I wouldn't be surprised to see Thatcher, of course, being the first ban, I expect at least. And then maybe the Maverick. I mean, who knows? It could be anything, right? It could be another hard breach too, though. I mean, maybe you want to get rid of the Ace. Maybe you want to get rid of the Havana. I don't really know. You could do a lot of things here.
I was muted. I'm so sorry. Anyways, well, we've got the ban order switched around this time. So this is Marian doing the secondary ban, Western Colorado being the ones that are stuck with the Thatcher ban. But the Decabe is really interesting. We haven't seen hide nor tail of her so far, but that might speak to a heavy usage of cameras when Marian wants to get on their defensive side. They're also getting rid of the Kaid. Makes plenty of sense. He's strong upstairs. He's strong downstairs. He's a strong character. He's gonna do a lot. He's got with his gadget. He's got that laser beam AUG SMG. They're also removing Wamai, so I think any round we're seeing without a Jaeger is gonna be a bit of a throw.
You'd think. I mean, I guess technically you can maybe justify depending on what the setup is, how the team plays it, etc. I mean, I agree, but I think that there could be exceptions. I don't know every situation, obviously. So.
Yeah.
But overall,
generally speaking, I'm here to make wide, sweeping, bold claims and get
right,
proved wrong later. So I'm okay with that.
That's what we do, right? That's what a caster's job is: make generalizations. Anyways, we're gonna see them going upstairs first. That's really what it is normally, upstairs or basement, depending on what the team's preference. But this is commonly the first one. Looking at the lineup. They are going to have that bandit for the denial. I like bringing mute because then you can get like every wall that you could possibly want and maybe even a doorway or a drone hole or something like that. In this case, the bandit does allow that trophy wall to not have bandits on it, because you're probably going to put it on
Protect
the
your
attic
bombs from being
wall
defused by attackers.
and then the closet wall. So now that means the trophy wall into attic will be available to be hard breached. So that's the real concern I have. We'll see if it's picked up on. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that Doe could be banned. Like, you have to think that maybe there's a reason for that. Well, my ban makes me think that they just don't want to contest with the elbow angle, but with Flores being available, usually that's the way you get around that. So is it worth banning out a Womai? I don't know. I mean, but the other thing too to keep in mind is that I think it was Frosta who was on that Womai who was a decent amount of kills last game. So maybe it's just a target ban.
Might just be a target ban, getting the AUG off the board entirely. Castle coming out from the defense as well. They've got the camera, which could have been. They got the 2 cameras, so they're playing into the ban of the Takebi. They know they're not going to get those hacked, so you may as well just start showing your hand and getting so much intel. But both these being the Maestro making a lot of sense. You see the Valkyrie a little bit less often, and definitely the Castle pretty rarely.
Well, Evil Eye's being brought again. They saw that last map. They had a hard time clearing that out. Icy, though, getting that opening kill on a boost. So that's going to be the bandit. I'm not sure where he was or what he was doing, but he's off the board, and that's a C4 down the drain, too. They're not going to have that in their pocket, and that leaves only Livid with the C4 in pocket. You can sometimes get a destructive from below kill with the C4, especially if they're going to be going through the closet. But you're going to see Frost is the one trying to get the bandit charges off the wall. They actually, unfortunately, shot below, and they got the closet, and that's going to be Cloud above, just watching the angle. And this is what happens when you make a mistake like that. You missed out, now you're trying to find out, wait, where are those bandit charges? And while you're looking around, someone's going to catch you while your pants are down, basically. In any case, 4v4 now.
The early loss of the bandit had me a little bit worried, especially since we saw some shotgun holes set up for presumably bandit tricking. But maybe it's a little less necessary now with Ash off the board anyways, and the man count dwindling. Marian only has Claws and Thwapper Boy left. They're kind of stuck in master bedroom as well. With all these cameras, I bet you there's something giving pings. And yeah, there we go. Some yellow pings going out, giving the information back to Livid, who originally placed those cams. He's waiting for his opportunity to take out a drone, but his location is sold. He should have a C4 if he wants to open up that wall. Deagle's going to open up line of sight anyways, and this is just going to totally shut down any advancement from the attackers.
You know, there's a piece that I want to comment on once this round is done. For now, we're going to have to watch more people play out. He's going to get one Claws with the F2 in hand. Certainly a weapon that you don't mind having in a situation like this. Has a rapid rate of fire, but still 3 more bodies to be found. He has a whole minute, though, to mess around. We'll see if he has any drone work helping him out, but he doesn't, clearly, as he walks into line of sight for cycle. Now, I do want to jump over to the little bit of criticism that I was thinking about, which is we did see Claws over there on that, the Twitch, just blanking on her name. Didn't use the Twitch drones. Ash went below and gets killed for going below to try and get stuff off the wall. There's a drone hole in the bedroom that they're in right there that leads straight next to the wall that they could have used to go just shoot the drone right through that drone hole into the room, and you're basically on top of those bandit charges. You just got to shoot them with your Twitch drone. You didn't even have to have someone go below and risk their life. And I think that that is just a play that is experience-based, right? So I'm not trying to be overly critical. It's a learning moment, right? They should know that there is a drone hole in the bedroom that can lead right into the other side of the wall, which is right next to those bandit charges. All you have to do is sneakily put a Twitch drone in there, especially when you know there's no mute jammers. Go do that. Save yourself some time. Save yourself a life below. In any case, we'll see if they will learn from that or not. They're not going to have a chance here, as they're going to have to attack a different bomb site, which is the basement of a bomb.
Yeah, this looks like a particularly scary basement hole to be bringing. Boo's bandit batteries are going to be hard to deal with in the basement. There's a lot less vertical play to be using against it with those explosives, since they're in the basement and everything's concrete cages around everyone. But they've also got the Goyo shields, which just as shields on their own are plenty scary, but adding that additional area denial is going to be a big aspect there. And the Mira being still on the board makes bunker into a veritable, like, actual bunker, not just a concrete bunker, but like a military grade bunker.
So I understand why you put the ADSs there with the Mira, someone can play there, but the only problem there is in that electrical room with the Mira, there's a hatch above. So if they open that up, then there's 2 ADSs that are wasted there. And unfortunately, the Mira would also be wasted. So they're going to have to try and contest above if they're aware of that problem and try and make it so meeting isn't a viable option for the attackers to open up. can see that they are bringing the OSA, the shield, a new op recently allowed in the what would we call that, isolation, let's say. So they're allowed to bring her, or gonna take care of the shield with an explosive, and Cloud also getting a kill onto Pains, be utilizing their time now to just buy even more using this utility, just slowing down the push. And hopefully for them, they're just hoping that loses a round win based on the fact that they have no avenues to push.
Okay, right off the bat, I see 3 drones right here. We don't need 3 people on drones. Someone's gonna have a gun up to act on it real quick. So that's gonna make it even harder to find that little moment, because it's only gonna show itself for a moment if you are stacking 3 players through bunker anyways. The meta has been forced off, so Cam Lewis is no longer getting to sit there in electrical. They haven't gotten the hatch open, but they have bought the space for themselves. Marian looking for a pick other than Pains, or looking for a pick for themselves in order to get this really going. And it's probably going to be Frosta who gets the opportunity, getting a little bit of information, and the pillar player is really looking good for the victory.
Well, Cloud's staying alive barely, but a lot of angles, as you mentioned, they're just collapsing down on them, hoping to get the kill. The peek out from Icy does find it, but takes a lot of damage for the trouble. Gonna be using the Ash Star to try and blow up the Goyo shield, pushing him back, but Recycle is on the flank here. If they're not aware, could be a freebie kill. He's gonna start creeping down. He's not gonna land the shots at first, but does manage to find Frosta. Icy in the meantime did find Cam Louis, so that is going to even out the man count. A minute remaining, but now they've lost control of the back stairs. Claws has to contest with that Jaeger. Is just gonna be a angle. The attackers in a disadvantage here as they don't have a really great avenue into sight. The wall is opened up. Now the smoke's coming through. At least we'll cut off lines of sight. They could try and utilize that to quickly sneak in. We're gonna see Recycle missing the shots on the player on Pillar. He's gonna have to just back off and just let them take this control, as they know all they have to do now is play time, as there is only 30 seconds remaining. Smoke's going to be bounced off to try and cut off the lines of sight from those back stairs, but Boo has a nice line of sight into the elbow area. Going to swing onto the player pushing from Pillar, get a second kill, but Claws shuts him down before they can do any more damage. Still, damage is done. It's a 1v2 and they can't do it. Livid shutting him out, and Western Colorado taking second round.
That round came in spurts. It was back and forth, these small actions. The smokes were so good right after Recycle, but Recycle's flank here was so good. Not only did it net the kill on Frosta, stopping any push from Big Tower Stairs, but now they have presence on Big Tower Stairs, a perfect spot to be shutting down a push for an actual plant. But those smokes gave that little opportunity for Marian to actually push in his sight. They didn't quite take it all the way, and that put them right in Boo's clutches. They stalled out just a little bit ahead of him. I think once again from the attack, we need to see a little bit more coordination from a couple directions. Like you said, that hatch right above electrical box is so good, and it's the way that you remove a Mira. Mira can be impossible to get through if you face her head on. But from above right there, that's going to be the perfect counter. So getting some pressure from Big Tower Stairs, bunker, and electrical box all at the same time is what's really going to make it easy for them to just continue to crunch in from that side.
Yeah, and you saw actually Frosta on the Ash was pushing through meaning it was free. They had a player in there, meaning no one was contesting it, so they could have got that hatch had they chose to, but they did not choose to do so, and unfortunately it did allow them less time to push on to site at the end of it all, because they could have cleared out that electrical box faster, like you had said. In any case, we're going to move on to the third bomb site, which they are opting for the kitchen dining hold, not the meeting one. So we'll see how this goes. There is some positive and negatives to this bomb site. One negative being there's no really recourse for retaking the site if you lose it, right? A site is hard. You can open up some lines of sight and play showers, but if you lose showers, that's a lot of control. Not a lot of lines of sight left for you to contest with A. They can get a site or a plant down in that site, and then that's really hard for the defenders to come back from. So that's the real worry of this bomb site. But the benefit is it's some pretty good positions. If you can hold out showers, it makes it very difficult for the attack. So that showers position is one I'm going to be watching out for intently. But Frost is already going to be on the green window, the green corridor window here, just waiting patiently, seeing if they can find a body. But as they rotate out, you actually see Cam Louis is nearby. There might be a confrontation here soon.
Ooh, here it is. Frosta pushing up. He didn't quite have the intel to know for sure, but he takes the fight and only taking a little bit of damage. Unfortunately, wasn't able to take much on. Kim Louis in exchange. Attic is being taken as well by his teammates. Recycle first being caught out here, but finding the headshot, or not the headshot regardless, finding enough damage to actually finish off Pains. He's finding that one more shot that he needs. He doesn't know for sure if there's more pressure, so he's not going to overextend. And there's the confirmation that there's another player. Claus shooting right back at him. He finds the kill, but Claus finds him as well. He didn't quite play it safe enough. 1 for 1.
Yeah, the greed got a little bit too much there as they wanted that kill so badly. If we're looking at the drone economy, there's only 2 drones left on players who are alive, and that is Claus having 1 and Frosta having 1. And that is not where you want to be halfway through a round. The C4 comes out, but Frosta's in a safe position in the indestructible floor, so it's not going to net anything. A 4v4, as you said, halfway through the round already, and well, the bodies are going to be trying to be found through the floorboards, but neither side able to come out on top here, as they are just continually going back and forth, but nothing really being shown. No cards being shown from either side. The body pushing in from the small tower is icy, but Boo finds him. Frosta from above has an angle on the player. He's buying his time patiently, but does not land the shots, and the patience, unfortunately, lets the player escape.
Frosta's been in this nail-biting fight for quite a while. He's drawn the attention of both Claude and Livid for quite some time. They must not have quite the intel, maybe no cam up there to give them that 24/7 surveillance, and has bought that time for his teammate to find a kill. Boo finally, no longer on the sniper, but he's been sniping of long sight lines throughout the course of this map so far. The refrag, though, does come around for the defense as well.
Frosta going to get kill on the Cloud. Livid finding Claws, though, so that's going to put them into the 1v2 for Frosta. He's going to get 1 onto Livid. Now it's a 1v1 situation. He's just trying to clutch it out. 10 seconds remaining, though. He's going to bait the plant, maybe. Continually sticking it. Is he going to continue to stick it all the way through? It looks like he is. The body going to be found, though, as Cam Louis cleans up the round. WCU get 3 in a row. The full rotation of sites all won by Western Colorado.
Yeah, that means we should be going back to second floor unless they have some real surprises in store for us and want to go to the other first floor site. But for the most part, any team I've seen is going to be going up to second floor. It is a little surprising to be going to dining as well. You don't see it very much in NA anyways.
Indeed. It was an odd site, but they won it. It did come down to a 1v1, and Frosta, I think they had a little more time than maybe they thought they did, as the timer wasn't on 0-0 when they were planting there. They could have actually jumped off of it if they had heard that player coming through the kitchen doorway. Unfortunately, they did not, it sounds like, and this is, again, why that drone economy is important, though. They could have had a drone watching as he was planting, and yet they had lost so many drones early in the round that, I mean, Frost was one of the people who had a drone, but at that time, maybe it was just in the moment, didn't think to throw it down as we were going to plant. In any case, didn't work out. We'll have to see what adjustments they make. They get a second chance here, as you said, to the upstairs bomb site of dorms. And last time wasn't terribly close, and they had wasted a lot of time. They didn't get the underneath off of the closet wall. They didn't get the bandits from underneath. They missed the ash charge. They didn't utilize the Twitch drone properly to get it off either. So that wall was electrified virtually the entire round. So hopefully this time they can at least get that check mark done, because that's one of the most basic ones.
Definitely something that's also going to require a little bit of, I'm going to say it again, some secondary pressure from a different part of the map. Stacking everybody up on master bedroom just is going to have you choked off at trophy room, unfortunately. So someone pushing through attic or even on dormitory window, just to draw some attention away, or through armory on armory door. That way you're not all having to push into one little choke point. The first thing they have to deal with here is, of course, this castle barricade, which won't be much of a problem at all. And there's the Twitch drone going through. This is an opportunity to do exactly what you're saying and get rid of those really early.
Well, we'll see what they do. Osa is going to get on that
I like
rappel
this.
on the windows. I like that. It gives you like nice lines of sight. It's going to try and slow things down for them. Cloud's going to be holding a very aggressive angle, so if they just peek unwisely to that and they're not aware, they get their head blown off. He's going to take care of one drone, so that's one drone already gone from the pocket of that Osa, but still going to persist on the window rappel. We can see Cam, though, is going to be going for a play, just trying to get this player on the rappel. He jumps out and gets that kill. Is there a refrag? It looks like not. There's no players watching out for that to protect their teammate. wall is still electrified. We see the Twitch is still here. They could use that Twitch drone and try and get those off of the wall, but still have to wonder if they've realized that yet or not. Again, I mentioned it before. It doesn't mean they heard me, though, right? So that's
Yeah.
the problem here, is just the experience of knowing that that is available to them, and it's going to seemingly bite them a second time. Boo's going to find a kill on the Frost. So things only going further down the drain for Marian. They have a 3v5 they have to clutch out here.
There's a little bit of revenge from last round where it went the other way. Livid making the mark known once again. There's only 2 attackers left as they're starting to wither away. Very similarly to last time. They are going to get a kill here. Payne's finding one, but Livid got it with the deagle. Thwapper Boy is all on his own once again in master bedroom, and Livid's got the angle for another kill. That's a 4th round that Western Colorado University has put together in a row, and it's looking like these bread and butter maps are really to their liking.
Yeah, they're doing some basic stuff. They're not really throwing anything abnormal at Marian. Marian just can't seem to check the boxes to get that wall open, and it's just stalling them out every time. And then they don't have anything for the flank watch, it seems, as these players are able to walk around the map wherever they will. That's the main things I would point out, is works are areas where they could work on improving for Marian. They just don't seem to be able to get the basic things done to get walls open, and then they don't seem to be able to get flank watch properly, as these players on Western Colorado are having a field day on these roams.
Yeah, the roam's so successful, especially if the attackers aren't going to be really moving too much. If they're getting stuck and bogged down in individual rooms, then your flank is going to have a great time with that, because you don't even need to push up and expose yourself. You can just hold an angle and wait for the opportunity behind enemy lines. The defense is switching it up a little bit. They're not bringing that meta anymore. They saw it get a lot of pressure from bunker, so this time maybe with the smoke they'll be playing an elbow extension into bunker instead. That way they've got something a little more dynamic that they can peel off of, and this time if there is more pressure on E-Box, it'll be a little bit safer, not have to lose a full meta window instead.
Or ADSs, right? So that was the other
Yep.
thing they
Yep.
designated over there. So less utility can be taken out if they had gotten that hatch open. We're going to see the elbow is going to be played here, although they're breaking the shield closer. And normally you want that further back so an ADS can be in front of it. In this case, that's not possible to be on that wall where he's playing by. So this shield's for free. If they just Ash charge it, it is gone. There's no ADSs to eat it up. So something to keep in mind. But that's still going to persist unless they actually designate the Ash to push up there. You see that the smoke is playing very aggressively. Going to get one drone for the trouble, almost finding the second one there. So you have to be a little bit more careful with this drone economy. We already see that Thwapper Boy has lost both of their drones, and every other player seemingly has lost a drone. So this is some of the basic things that we worry about.
Yeah, that's a lot of them ticking down, and that's something that's also cost in the late round, is slowly losing those drones. So that's probably going to come into play once again if the flanks don't start to shut them down really quickly. The ace charge does, oh, not quite, go off. The last bit of it just got shot off right at the last moment. So the smoke doing his job perfectly. Cam Lewis is stalling the attack even more. Just like last time, we got 2 players stuck outside a bunker, and their drone economy is wasting away.
Well, time wasting away as they have continually had this issue.
Oh,
Marian,
3 players.
not sure what to do here. They're stalled out by the smoke. They're not even going for a push in because they're aware of that player playing on pillar having the lines of sight onto them as well. So they're just a little scared, I would say. And Cam Lee's like, I bought enough time. Half the round's already done. I'm not even going to play on that shield. And it's going to be a ghost there in elbow, just trying to scare them further while no one's actually there. We do see Frosta and Paints have actually gotten some ground, though, in Freezer. This is actually very important. The grenade's going to actually net the kill. There's no ADS to catch it. Recycled's going to go out first, and that's going to give the opening kill to Marian for the first time, I think, so far. But from a flank from behind is Frosta getting down. Now, not finished off, mind you, but still going to be hurt. I think Cloud actually might have got that through the wall, so not a flank necessarily. But still a good job coming out from Cloud with that heads-up play. But still more work to be done here. A minute remaining, and we do see these players have now finally gotten some ground as well. Over into the bomb site, we're going to see Claus with the double kill with the F2, flipping over from one player to the other. Cloud and Boo have to do something. The flank was there, but it's not going to pay off. Pain shuts him down. Claus with the triple on the round. Marian find their first round.
That's... I mean, it's really going to come down to this play from Claus here. That's taking the heart out of the defense. And Claude couldn't do it alone. He gets the down to start things off for his team, But Claus has finally made it past that phantom of Cam Louis, who could have been in elbows still. So they must have had at least another drone left to double check on that and confirm that it was going to be safe to get through the reinforcement, and then get into E-Box. And I'm a little bit baffled at Western Colorado for the coordination that they've shown us. Were not aware that there was going to be a push coming in right through E-Box, because that seemed like something right their speed to be ready to head off Claus's assault. But it really comes down to Claus, and also I didn't catch who it was with Frosta going down Freezer, but getting some massive kills from two opposing sides there.
Well, the thing that really caught my interest was that the Jaeger didn't put a ADS in Freezer, and then they themselves got naded. So that's kind of ironic, right? The player who brings the ADS didn't give themselves one, but you usually do have one in Freezer there, so that's something else to be aware of. But the push was smart from Marian coming from Freezer side. They knew they needed some other avenue to open things up for them. And look how much they were respected, too, because we saw Western. Yeah, there's some down player in the Freezer Frost up. There was still the other player there. The thing was that Western had given all their attention, Western Colorado, they had given all their attention to that Freezer push then at that time. You saw all the players were playing more passively. They were worried about getting through the door of Freezer, and that allowed Claus just to push up and move through the doorway of the electrical box. And what does he find? Two players not watching him. They were respecting that back push too much, and it paid the price for it. So Marian did a good job getting a little bit of a feint on one side and pushing from the other.
Yeah, and a great way to adapt to the attack instead of just getting fully stuck. There was a little bit of that round 2 as well. It just took a little bit of time to get that active. So noticing that you're stuck and finding something else to make you unstuck just has to be a realization that comes a little earlier into the round on a lot of these. And I think it would really pay off. And a lot of the rounds that we've seen so far over the course of the last 5, it's been an issue. We keep seeing a C4 going out pretty early here, but Frosta gets wind of it, and the 3 speed is actually probably going to be what saves him. Get enough distance away from the C4 that doesn't completely kill him. There is a Valkyrie cam right above this doorway that's at least going to be able to give some audio cues, if not telling once he steps inside the doorway.
We see the flank coming from top of main stairs. That's going to be a recycle just creeping down. 2 players down here, too, at the bottom of laundry. Could be found out if that flank comes through, and they're not aware of it. This is, again, why flank watch is such an important role to have on your team. We're going to see the swing coming out from the Maestro. Some shots missed, but Cloud eventually finds the body. Boo finds Pains. That's both of those players at the bottom of laundry. So the flank that was coming through actually doesn't net anything because they're already taken care of. Recycle, though, going to reposition as he knows that there's some other players probably lurking about upstairs. Now the push coming through Freezer stairs that netted them so much utility and so much gain last round is going to be coming through again from Marian, but now they have a lot less bodies to work with, only 3 on the board, and they have 2 players designated here in Freezer. That last player is the Buck. We just saw him open up meeting hatch, and they're rotated over to Big Tower stairs, but still, there's only so much you can do with 3 bodies.
And Recycle First has been looking for a flank. He was a little sad to see the 2 players that died earlier go down before he could quite get there, so he's happy to find one this time. Claus will find one for his team as well. That's the opening kill for Marian, and he finds another as well. Claus starting to find his pace. He's going to start heading down Freezer stairs, but there is some players waiting just ahead of them. On the other side, Ice is going to find a kill coming down Big Tower stairs, and it's suddenly looking like a much more even match, especially with Recycle First having to push his way back down towards site.
The other thing, though, is Boo has eyes on that diffuser from above, from the floorboards being opened up, and they know they have that diffuser down, so that's going to give them the advantage. These attackers have to come to them. I don't think they can even reach the bomb chassis in time. They're not going to be able to get that diffuser, so if Boo just plays this well, doesn't lose their life here, they're going to win just on time alone. The peak's coming through. Recycle is found by Claus, the triple on the round, but does it do anything for them? No, they can't get the win. The time runs out. That diffuser being down just ended up costing Marian in the end of that round, and that's going to be another 5-1 coming through from Western Colorado.
I think this is interesting to see a failed first attack through Laundry and a massively successful one coming down through Freezer. But the discrepancy in timing between those two, I think, is what sealed the fate of the attack. Even with Claws landing a 3K, he can kill his way through players as much as he wants. But unfortunately, without any side pressure, it really is just taking 1v1s and proving that you're a better gunfighter until someone gets lucky and finds the side of your head. It's got to be a little bit more coordination. Like we said again, just timing. That way you're pushing at the same time. It's just the simple comms of well, you got to just hold the angle at the bottom of Laundry stairs until your Freezer teammates are there, and then that would be such a decisive push. I'm so here for that Marian attack where it's all a little bit more coordinated, and maybe we get to see it here coming back to second floor. We're not on match point yet, but Western Colorado is really pulling ahead.
This the side swap though. So Marian, they're going to be trying their first defense here. We're going to see what Colorado can do, Western Colorado can do on their attacking half. They had really good success. We saw Marian had some sparks, as you mentioned, but those sparks came too little too late many times. And a big thing, as you mentioned, is just timing and really coordination is what it comes down to. The one push came down through Laundry, they swung out, and then the defenders were watching that side. At the same time, had they had a push coming from Freezer, like you mentioned, could have been a dual-sided push, working together, getting a crossfire on those players playing in that Laundry room. That could have been a very different story. But unfortunately, they didn't push at the same time, so they gave one avenue after another rather than at the same time, and that's going to cost them. Now they have the chance to try and bring it back on defense, though, and they're going to go upstairs, much like we saw the other team do. So what can these attackers do to clear things out? Well, they do have the sledge, so that castle, it can be cleared out pretty easily as long as they designate that operator to get over there and take care of it for them, and indeed they do. They also have something interesting that we haven't seen yet, which is the Florist.
I was also interested by an IQ pick. This is a site where some of these things might be a little more estimatable, such as those batteries. They do know that they're there for sure with the IQ. That way they can immediately send their Flores drone right in there to confirm on it. They've got a nice flank watch set up there, but they're not going to be sure about the actual player waiting to flank a little closer up. A smoke going down in the hole, but Claws, that flanker that we were just talking about, is going to get hit with the air jab, but it's not going to get a refrag for the attackers. They're just going to have to deal with Claws in their flank.
Well, the peek's coming out. Recycle first gets taken out by Frosta, but Boo gets the kill on the Claws, the biggest gunner on the other side. Now Frost is going to get taken out by Boo. That's another air jab, I think. And that one's actually going to net the kill this time. Now Pains and Flopper Boy going to have to pull out a 2v3 for their team. Otherwise, they'll be finding themselves on map and match point if they can't clutch this out. We're going to see that they have some control. They have the avenue open up, I believe, through the wall. We're going to see Pain's taking some damage, but Cloud on that Hard Breacher is going to get the kill on the Thwapper Boy, so it is down just to Pains in a 1v3. Lost control of the site. The plant can come through. Now he has to do a retake and has to contest with two of these Overwatch players who are just going to be covering their plant as it goes through. Now a 1v3 as that planter has already come through, and it's going to be the time dwindling down. They have a 7-second diffuse time, so if they jump on that diffuser, they need to have enough time to do that on top of finding the bodies or just finding a cheeky position where they can't get shot. It's not looking like a good situation. This will put Marian on their last back foot as they're not going to have any more room for error. The shotgun being pulled out. He's trying to find something here. The swing comes out, gets it down, but the hammer of Camel, you don't see it too often, but it will come down on the skull of the smoke. That's hilarious. You don't see that very often.
We do love how Bonky is plenty distracted. He did get the down, though, to his credit. Didn't quite get the kill, so unfortunately doesn't go on the scoreboard. But after that bonk, Western Colorado is looking to finish off with one more attacking round if they can get it. They've had a really strong series so far against Marian University, and they're going to be bringing in, I think, the exact same lineup here once again. This time we're going to be going basement, though. There should be Ooh, I was going to say one shield, but that might even be in question. We'll see what the Jaeger's going to be supporting. It might not be any shields in basement, which is a little bit worrisome because shields can be really strong if you look at Freezer, obviously Pillar, and elbow extension, which we saw earlier. And, I mean, it's the basement's winding corridors. You can basically put them somewhere and just crouch behind it and make yourself an anchor.
I think they're just worried about those Flores drones coming in through and blowing up their shield, right?
Attackers have
I think we
discovered
saw it
the
come in and
location
just
of the
destroy those bandit charges, so they're probably aware that Flores is being brought. But the thing is, they have mute now, so that can stop it. But they had to switch off of the shield to get the mute, so it's kind of a loss situation if you do one or the other. The thing is, they could have switched off the vigil to bring the mute or something, but doesn't bring as much utility as that shield. But
10 seconds left.
on hindsight 2020, right? We're not going to do us a lot of good here. So what can
5
they do
seconds
to help
left before
themselves in this
insertion.
situation? They can get a good roam game going. That's what I'd say. And we see Frosta
Attackers are
and
moving to
Pains
defuse
are going to be
bomb.
the two out there doing that. We see Thrapper Boy is out of sight. They're just getting the hatchet. They're getting it late, though. This is kind of scary. They could get shot from that front door if someone just completely swiftly pushed in on them. But in this case, they're going to be able to barricade that top of laundry stairs and get back down into the basement.
Similar to the Marian attack, Western Colorado is booking it down through bunker. This time they're going to use some smokes. You have to get through Aruni gates instead of castle barricades. But the smoke is making it pretty easy to get through there. The Malusi gadget slows down Claude, but not quite enough for someone to try and find a kill on him. The elbow extension seems to be there. It's going to need to be barricaded up again in order to stop Western Colorado from getting even more pressure through here. But I think those Flores drones are going to be making it difficult.
No, they didn't get the reinforcement up. So now the attackers are going to be able to actually push up onto that hole that was made and to rotate. So they've given this up for free. And if you give up elbow, you usually want to reinforce that wall. And now it is not going to be able to happen as there's another player of the enemy side just hanging out around it. So that's a very dangerous proposition to try and reinforce that right now. So they've given that up, but it isn't all lost either. Now the kill coming from Boo will help things out for the attackers as Icy is going to go down. That's going to be the Malusi dead. Cam Louie finding Frost, things going further in the favor of Western Colorado. They're trying to shut it out here and now. Another swing coming up from Boo. Finds a second one onto Claws. Now it is just Thwapper Boy and Pains. No longer Thwapper Boy. Cloud getting that one. And Pains on the roam in a 1v5 is probably in a lot of pain as this is a very hopeless situation.
There's not going to be too much he can do coming down the main stairs. No one knows his location. He's got cloaking as well. But well, at least he gets to go down taking a kill with them as they're going to trade headshots to finish off the game. Yeah, not a flawless, and that's what you want at that point. They did take a round off of this map as well, so not flawless on round count either. But Western Colorado University, especially on the back of that round, really showing their eminence on these two maps, that they can stick by their guns, put up a setup that they're confident in, and just ride that confidence till the end of that match.
Yeah, it looked like the experience really paid off for them here. I would say that you even saw them. The Flores drone did exactly what I was criticizing the Twitch for not doing on the other side for Marian, right? Go through that drone hole, get the stuff off the wall, get the wall open. Well, that Flores knew exactly where that drone hole was, sends it straight through, blows up the bandit charges. So it's just a matter of experience here. I think we saw Marian, especially Claws, you saw him get plenty of kills. They have the mechanical ability. It's just they don't seem to have that cohesion together. They don't seem to be able to get timing down, and they also just don't know exactly where things are. Drone holes, they missed a lot of breaching charges from below trying to clear things off of walls. So it's a matter of experience, and it's almost like a game of inches like in football. Well, here it's the same thing. You just gotta be able to hit marks for exactly on. They can do it with their guns, but they can't seem to do it with the utility just yet. So once they get that down, I think they'll be a really formidable team. But for now, let's just highlight the good parts, which is Western Colorado, they win in good fashion. They get a 2-0, and they're putting themselves in a good position moving onward into and towards playoffs.
Yeah, this is our week 2, so there's plenty of time to really start reaching up and really look at play, look back at these VODs, and find any of those small things, any bits that have been illuminated, and start improving on those, start hammering them out, especially for once we get to playoffs, and that level of play will just keep increasing as we go throughout the season. So there's plenty more to stay tuned to. I think there should still be a match running on the NECC esports stream. So if you want to catch some more NECC Rainbow Six for this week, will be a little bit more. And of course, next week, starting at 6 ET, we'll be back at it again with both streams, 4 matches for next week. So plenty to keep up with. And of course, NECC streaming just about every other day of the week with the rest of the league.
Yeah, indeed. So for us, that's going to end it for the first match of B stream. Our second match has been pushed back slightly, so it'll be at 9:30 Eastern time. So we got a little bit of time until then. But as you mentioned, the other match has gone to match 3 on the A stream. So jump over there, check that out, and then of course come back over here because there will be another game on later in both streams. In fact, around 9:30 EST. So plenty of matches